Hi, it's Laura. uh, let's talk about what sold on Whatnot today. It's a decent show. Um, I've already forgotten what it was. Let's see, not even that long ago. I sold a total of $305 worth of items. That's before fees. So after fees, it's probably going to come to about 260 bucks. I have 8 packages going out, and there are a total of 21 items in those 8 packages. Only 2 of my customers were new to me today, which is unusual. I'm usually kind of a 50-50 split, but that's okay. I had one of my repeat customers who's been buying a lot of inventory from me recently. I believe it's a reseller. Um, I believe most of my customers are usually resellers, so that's cool. And yeah, I have a few multi-item purchases today, so that's fun times. I was feeling pretty not confident about my inventory. I felt like I had a lot of stuff that had been in previous shows, so of course I was feeling like, bummed out about that. But I also knew that I've gone through all of this before, right? Same old story. I feel crappy about my inventory. It sells anyway. I sell stuff that I've had sitting around for weeks, like the whole normal story, right? So I was overall pretty happy with how it went. It did feel a little bit slow towards the end, but that's okay. It's not really so much about the activity of the show as far as like how many people are in there. It's like, do I feel like I made a decent amount of money? Um, when I do more than $200 worth of sales, 2 to 300 is decent. If I go over 300, I'm pretty happy. That's like a good show for me. And then 4 to 500, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. So usually I'm somewhere in the like 250 to $300 range, right? Um, so let's take a look at what I sold. I'm going to start off with my first customer. Purchased a total of 9 items from me. Whatnot has split this up into 2 different packages, but I feel like Whatnot frequently kind of unbundles things that don't need to be unbundled. So I think I can get it all together, but I'm just going to go with whatever happens here. So the first item is this very cute little 90s bias cut dress, right? Very lovely. Let's see. I think I had a couple of things that got more than one bid today. I don't think this is one of them. Yeah, this sold for 15 bucks, so that's good. And let's put this hanger over here. So, as I wrap these up, oh, let me see. Hold on. I've got to move my little table here so that I am not off camera the whole freaking time, like I keep being half the time. So let's see. Hold on. I think this is better. It's gonna be better. Okay. So let's see. I know that in my last haul video, I was talking about my thrift store being like not really giving up the goods as much lately. It's been a little bit of a disappointment the past few trips. So I'm going to try and change up some of my inventory stuff. I do have a lot of stuff left over from not left over. I have a lot of stuff unprocessed from a recent estate sale that I went to, but it's like super dirty. A lot of it needs like soaking before the washing even. Like I can't just throw it all in a washer. It seems a little too dirty for that. So it needs a lot of processing. So it's kind of longer term to go through. Um, I have a lot of that. Let's see. Second thing that this person purchased from me is this little Y2K mesh top. I've had this in a few shows now. We've got this up to number 42, which is only meaningful if you've listened to me talk about all my numbering system previously. When I was renumbering my stuff yesterday, I was actually surprised because, my first 30 items are always new, and then I kind of have to push everything back. Last week, I pulled probably about 15 or so pieces from like old stale Etsy and Depop inventory. So I didn't actually have those pieces remaining in my show to kind of push all my numbers back. So I only had, I think, 26 new items in my show this morning. Um, and then everything beyond number 30 was I didn't really have to shuffle numbers a lot. So it made me feel like extra insecure, um, because I felt like, wow, this is going to look like almost an identical show to last week. Obviously, my fears were unfounded, as they typically are. But anyway, so this shirt was numbered number 42, but like normally it would have been pushed a little bit back further because it's been in a few shows, but it sold, and it sold to somebody who's been in multiple of my shows before. Again, because I keep learning this lesson over and over again. So let's see. Then the third item in this particular part of her bundle is this cute little top. I've had this top in many shows. I had it in a whole bunch of Whatnot shows. I took it out for a long time. I had put it back in, took it back out. I stuck it back in yesterday just because we're coming up on summer. I thought, okay, like I put in a bunch of older stuff that I had pulled out previously because again, I was feeling like, oh, this is all looking like same old, same old. So anyway, worked out. This sold for I think 10, 11. I listed it for 10, so more than one person bid on it. So that's good. And again, I recognize that like going from 10 to 11 is not like earth-shattering bidding activity, but it's reinforcing for me that like I've had a bunch of insecurity about this item because it's been hanging around for a long time, and yet there was more than one person who was willing to pay for this item. So lesson learned. Okay, the second part of her package is her first three items. She got this cute little vest, which I love. I just pulled this in yesterday. Little Liz Claiborne cotton vest. This is actually a size extra large. Like I feel like it doesn't really look like it is, but it is. Measures like an extra large, so marked as an extra large. This sold for $15, which is what I had it listed for. And it's funny because like this, I would have thought would get more than one bid. It did not, which is, obviously again, fine. I'm setting my own prices, but it's just funny the things that like I expect to get bid up versus things that will get some bids. And if I bid up, you know what I'm saying, just a bid. She also got this nightgown, which I had up for $5, mostly because this came from the estate sale. And it's just like it doesn't ring my bell, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm just like, yeah, it's a nightgown. Here it is. So, and it's, as you know, nice. I like having things in there that are kind of lower price. Come here, y'all are in my way, my friends. Ugh. All right, let's see. Rizzo is out and about with me today, but she, for the moment, is watching squirrels out the window, so she's not interfering in my shipping, which I'm grateful for. This is not folded up small enough, but that's okay. All right, that little $5 nightie. Then she also picked up this velvet Y2K top. This was, I'm going to guess $10. At least I know I'm consistent with how I would price things. So that's good. This also came from that estate sale that I still have a bunch of filthy inventory from. See, here we go. And it's funny because I've been getting some of these Y2K tops, especially with these like bell sleeves and stuff. And I feel like they're super cool, but then I feel like they also don't get as much attention when I run them. So I'm glad it sold. This T-shirt, which also came from, not this one, also came from the estate sale. Really cool. So this is Software City. And what I love about this, I looked up Software City before I listed this. And again, I was only sticking it in a Whatnot show. It wasn't going to be expensive. This ended up selling for $13. So I think I started it at 10. And I wanted to make sure that it was actually 80s. I mean, it's single seam stitching, but there was no tag in it. So just to sort of like, verify that it was 80s, because I'm always like terrified that somebody's going to like prove it. Anyway, I looked up Software City because it's computer stuff, right? And in my brain, like computers are 90s or later, obviously. Well, in the 80s, I found a magazine that had Software City ads in it. And it was so fun because these are old computer magazines, but it's still at a point where like computers, I don't want to say they're starting to be in homes, but like crazy expensive. But they're not connected to an internet yet. So it's still just all in-home computer stuff. So there's a lot of gaming stuff. people are building their own computers, super like geeky kind of nerd. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, like, just, 80s computer guys. Um, and so these magazine ads, first of all, tons of gaming advertisements. The graphics and the colors in the ads were amazing. The magazine was from 1983 and it had the Software City ad in it, so that was awesome. Um, but also just it was like mail order computer stuff, and it was like people literally pages and pages of like code that I guess you could go in and do on your own, but it's like just 2 pages of code to like complete. It was wild. I loved it. It was a really fun thing to research. None of that helps me with the value of the shirt, I don't think, really, but it was still fun to play around with. So anyway, like I said, that went for 13. I had started it at 10. So I don't know, maybe it did help $3 worth of value, but it was a cool t-shirt. Let's see. Next, I have this jumpsuit, so I got this yesterday, and when I first brought it home, I was like, it's a jumpsuit, whatever. I do like the print, right? Like 90s rayon. But when I went to list it, I realized that it's a wide leg jumpsuit, which number one, how much attention was I paying that I didn't even notice that it was a wide leg jumpsuit until I was listing it. So I got home, I found it in a thrift store, decided to get it, didn't notice at that point. Came home, did a haul video for y'all, didn't notice at that point, and finally noticed as I went to, I don't even know if I noticed when I wrote the description, maybe I did, but like definitely with the photograph, because it looks so good. Anyway, this sold for $20. This one I had to list for 20 because I think I paid 10 for it, or roundabouts. I can't remember if it was around a $10 mark that I paid. I paid up a little bit for it. I believe it was not even on sale, like, but I liked it. So I listed it for 20. Normally probably would have gone for 15, but it worked out. I love the colors. I love it's such a cool jumpsuit. Especially with the wide leg, and it has like a little waist tie so you can cinch the waist in. It's really pretty. So that was nice. That folded up. We're definitely getting this into one package. Whatnot's a little crazy with its bundling. And then the last item that she got is this pair of pants that also came from the estate sale. Let's see. They're sailor pants. They're very like well worn. So it's got all this sort of wear in the crotch. And it's got like this going on. I think they're men's pants. There was no size tag. There was just like a washing instructions. But I think that these are really cool as like a super slouchy, distressed type of aesthetic. So I'm excited. I tried them on because I wanted to kind of keep them for myself, but they were just too large for me to wear, even as like a slouchy pant. They just looked silly on me. So I'm glad that they get to go to someone who will either appreciate them or sell them to someone else who will appreciate them one way or the other. So let's get these. Wait, this is her little stack. So I'll be able to fit that in one of the priority 12 by 12 by 8 boxes. Here's the other thing with Whatnot that I think just changed recently. Maybe it wasn't recent and I just haven't come across it yet, but so I do the shipping where it's like the buyer pays up to $8.35. I cover anything after that. That will cover up to 5 pounds of inventory for them. Once it goes beyond 5 pounds, it's on me. The other thing, though, that's interesting is that Whatnot, if it's under a pound, Whatnot makes it ground advantage rate. Between 1 and 5 pounds, it's priority. But then from 5 and above, it was defaulting back to ground advantage. So when I went in yesterday to my show, as I was setting it up, I was going to change it to be all priority, but thankfully I looked at Whatnot's rate chart which I guess like I should think about it in terms of like normal shipping, not Whatnot shipping, because if you send a 5-pound package from New Jersey to California, it's expensive. So, and I live in New Jersey, if you don't know that already. And so the rates are very expensive above 5 pounds if you're shipping priority. So I ultimately left it as ground advantage. Because people are buying in bulk for me and I appreciate that. Like I want to be able to send it priority, but also it's crazy pricing and it's just a little too much for me to absorb, especially at the prices that I charge. So I left it at Ground Advantage. You could choose to do flat rate packaging. And I feel like I don't want to get too into shipping rates on Whatnot because it's very complex. I will say that you really should have a good understanding of shipping in general before you decide to sell on Whatnot because it's confusing. Sorry, I'm trying to get these. I feel like I can fit these in here, but they're going to be crammed a little bit. But hold on. You really should know shipping pretty intimately before you decide to sell on Whatnot because it's confusing. And I'm grateful that I did have such a good grasp on shipping, but I don't use flat rate shipping on Whatnot because when shipping becomes expensive because of the weight for me, it's usually involving enough clothing that I can't fit it into the flat rate packaging. So it's not advantageous for me on Whatnot. That 1 to 5 pound rate really covers a good amount. So anyway, this is all going to fit in one box. So I will take her. Whatnot has this customer's package split into two. When I go to ship it, I'm going to combine it back into one package so that it will not, it'll all ship together. This might be over 5 pounds, which is fine. Ooh, sorry if I just bumped you. I still haven't figured out, like Whatnot says that I'm spending $835 for shipping. So meaning probably for this customer, she paid up to $835 for the first package. And then I'm out of pocket $835 for the second package. I don't think I will need to use it that way, but I don't know if Whatnot, like if a customer overpays, like that's it. The customer has paid the shipping and that's it. I think if you message Whatnot, they'll figure, I don't know. We'll see. I'll take a look at it. I really should have done this 100 times over by now, and I haven't. But I don't actually get charged for shipping too frequently. Like there's not too many times when I'm covering additional shipping. All right, let's move on because I'm not making any sense. My second package is a new to me customer who purchased 2 items. The first thing is this pair of Victoria's Secret, like 90s era pajama pants. And these sold for, I'm going to say 10, but let's see. They sold for 10. All right. Let's fold those up. So I'm back to folding and packaging while I'm showing you things today. If you have a preference, if you'd like me to just kind of blow through what sold and not package it up while I'm on camera, let me know. If you don't really care, you don't have to say anything. The second item that this customer purchased was this cute little pair of shorts, Liz Claiborne, probably like 90s era. And those sold for $7. I priced them at $7 just because the amount I spent, it was one of those like in between, like, I don't know. I spent too much to start them at $5. All right, so that's her. Let's get a nice little bag here and get her wrapped up. Okay, cool. That next is Mamas. All right. Oop. This is another repeat buyer for me. She purchased 2 items. I'm always saying she. I just kind of assume everybody is a she. I don't actually know. Like username to human name. So, first are these pants. These are like very festival style. These also came from that estate sale, and these are really cool. I feel like I started them at 15. Let's see if that's what they sold for. That is what they sold for. So really awesome. I was surprised when I put these up. So I had these loaded up a little bit in advance on my show. And I think that on Whatnot, I think a lot of people are not really looking at shows too far in advance. I think that they're usually checking them out same day, maybe the day before. But I think that usually the only people who are looking at things in advance are the people who already follow me and are looking forward to my shows. but I had these up for a few days and they were not bookmarked or even like, yeah, nobody had like notifications turned on for them. I was surprised because I thought they were so cool. I'm pretty sure I did not start out my show with any pre-bids on anything today, which was also kind of like in my head, I'm like, oh, am I going to have a decent show? But it, went well. I was happy with it. This also sold. This is a cat suit. So it's like a stretchy one piece jumpsuit, but it's like very form fitting. And this also came from the estate sale. This went for $20. I just thought it was a really amazing piece. So I didn't want to list it too low. It's phenomenal. I think it's a really fun piece. Let's see. So I'm going to put this, wrap that up, and we'll get a nice little. Can we squish this into one of these bags? I think we can. I think I can. Maybe a little squishy, but I think it'll be all right once it's in there. Come on, there we go. Okay. Not the prettiest, but it'll work. And this is a repeat buyer, so I feel like, we've already made a good impression in the past. I think I'll be forgiven. The next is another repeat customer for me. They purchased one item. They got this t-shirt. This t-shirt, I got it in some kind of estate sale a little while back. I can't remember. But so this is just an 80s tee. It's for Bahama Mamas, which was a bar in Hoboken, New Jersey. Hoboken's like a very college kind of town. This bar doesn't exist anymore, but like look at the graphics on this. So it's got this like obnoxiously hot woman, and then the Garfield bootleg characters. So it was funny. I listed it for 15. I think that's what it sold for. Yes, sold for 15. Oh, oops, why did I just close that? That was incorrect. Correct. All right, there we go. So let me fold this up. So that was fun. I originally was going to hold this off and list it on, whatever, eBay or something. I think I included it because I desperately needed inventory last week. And now it just was in my show. So it got carried over. So that's fine. It sold. It's good. And then we wrap it up like that, which I think is like just a fun display. Put this in a little baggie. Yeah. Cool. All right. Then next is another repeat buyer for me. You only got this thing? Yeah, purchased this item. This is a vintage slip, sold for 15 bucks. I love these things. This one has no tags. I don't know if it's Vanity Fair or Van Ralte or what it is, but it's very reminiscent of all of that. These 60s neon, slips. I think they're super fun. I get very excited when I find them. That sold for 15, so that was good. That bag is too large. Use this one. Okay. I normally probably would have held this off to sell it on eBay or Etsy, but I actually have several listed on those sites currently. So I felt like it was, like I was able to go ahead and easily list it on Whatnot because I have several others that are still available. So fine. Next is another repeat buyer for me. Purchased one item, this sweater. It's like a 70s. It's got this cool zipper feature, which I love. And this sold for $10. This has been in a couple of shows. And by a couple, I mean 3 or 4 now, I think. I got this at a Salvation Army in Manhattan. Actually, yeah, Easter weekend, which was whenever. I know Easter was in March this year. Today is April 25th. So I guess about a month ago I got it. It's very cool. I have to go back to that Salvation Army again. That was a really good trip that day. Since my regular thrift store has been a little disappointing, I've been trying to figure out like what are some alternate thrifting adventures I could have. Next package is a new to me customer who purchased 5 items today. She was very sweet in chat. And let's see, I'm going to go through what she got. First item is this 70s top. This sold for 17, so I had it starting at 15. I got a couple of bids, which was nice. Yeah, so I'm trying to like think about some alternative sourcing opportunities. I, as usual, am like going back and forth in my head about going to the Goodwill outlet. I do think I should need to give it another try. I mean, worst case scenario, I drive there. It's 15 minutes away from my house. It's not far. I drive there, pull into the parking lot. If I walk in the building and it's jam packed, I walk back out again, like I did the last time I tried to go. But I think that it's just I get all in my head about like people are going to be aggressive and this, that, and the other thing, and I just need to let go of a lot of that stuff because worst case scenario is I walk out. Second to worst case scenario is I go and people are being pushy and aggressive, but I don't play into that. I kind of hold back and go through the bins where people are not being aggressive. You never know. I don't know. I feel like I should give it a shot. The other things I'm thinking of doing this weekend, there's a town-wide garage sale somewhere, so I think I'm going to go and try and hit that up. I tried looking at estate sales. There wasn't anything super exciting at the moment, so I don't know. All right, this item, this is very pretty. This dress, I picked it up at the thrift. It's gorgeous. I love the hem, especially this like very ruffly, flouncy kind of hem. It's a very Diane Freese type of style, but it's not Diane Freese. This went for $27. I think I started it at 20. And so I'm actually really impressed that it went that high because it had some, minor flaws, but they're, it's got these buttons up the back and the buttons have those like thread loops. I'll show you. It's got these things here, right? And the little thread loops that go over these covered buttons, there was like 2 that had detached from the dress, so I had to reattach them. I don't have matching threads, so it's not super visible. Like the thread matches the colors of the dress, it just doesn't match the colors of the thread that was used to attach them. I don't know. There was like little stuff like that, and I was concerned that people would just be like, "Nah, never mind." But I started it at 20 and it sold for 27, so that was great. So I think it's a gorgeous dress. I mean, I think it's, even with the condition issues, I would have listed it on Etsy for probably like 79 shipped. But again, whatnot isn't Etsy, So let's see, let's get rid of that. Sorry, my nose is runny now. Next is this quilted jacket that's like a 90s Pier 1 Imports. So Pier 1 used to carry clothing back in the day. I'm sure I've talked about that in the past too. So it's really cool. I'm going to package that in its own poly mailer because it's a little musty smelling. So we're going to try and protect her other items from that. Oh, I'm so sniffly today. I have like some allergy. Ooh. So this will be interesting because this is very fat. Let's see, is that a good size? Yeah, I think that we can do that. This will be like a fat little package for her. Let's see what that does to shipping. I might have to stick her in a box. Got that. The jacket sold for $18. I had started it at 15, so that's nice. And next, hold on, I'm going to have to move these guys off of my little shipping table. Next is this little 70s dress, which she got. I love this little tulip print. It's very pretty. This sold for 26. I feel like I started this at 20, so that's good too. You can tell I don't pay as much attention to the bidding as it's happening in real time. So just kind of wait till the like thing makes it. You know what it is too? It's hard to see sometimes. It's so small, and I stand back because I'm like standing back holding the thing up. Hold on, Miss Rizzo. Hi, I need to remove you, please, if you don't mind. I need to use this table. Thank you. I'm pretty good. I'm down to the last 2 items, so maybe we'll not have to fight too much with this cat while I fold things. But anyway, it's kind of hard to see where the bidding is at as it's going. So I just kind of wait until I can tell that it's ended and, move on. So it's a nice little surprise that it went as high as it did. There's that. Like I said, it sold for 26. I had started it at 20. And again, I only started this at 20 because of how much I had to pay for it originally. Again, I feel like it was around 8 to 10 bucks somewhere. And let's see. And then the last item that she got was this sweet little apron. I know I started this at 5. It's, mid-century and cute, but it does have some staining on it. This came from that estate sale as well. Let's see. I'm assuming it sold for 5. It did. So it sold for 5 bucks. So that is the last of all of that. So it was a pretty nice show. I also don't feel super exhausted today, which is nice. A lot of times after a show, I feel a little bit physically kind of wiped out. Standing for a long time can be hard on me. But that was a fun show. So yay, I'm happy about that. And now I got to go print all the shipping, which is going to be a nightmare. Maybe someday I will do a whatnot shipping video, but it's very complicated. And I think it's like very, very different if you sell glassware versus clothing. Like, I don't know how people who do glassware or any kind of large, bulky items or hard goods like that, shipping has got to be insane for those people. So, as it is for clothing, it gets a little wonky, but if you understand shipping already before you get into it, it's pretty manageable. So, and I do love their shipping price structure because that 1 to 5 pounds for $8.35 is phenomenal, especially for clothing. But shipping also has size constraints, which I don't really have to worry about for clothing, generally speaking. But when you're talking about glassware and stuff, it's definitely a concern. So I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know how those poor people do it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was informative, helpful, enjoyable, whatever. And I will see you again soon. Thanks.